Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Chef Johnny Schwa. Here we are at Homedale High School, and we have our Portuguese seafood stew. We're going to start out with our seafood stew. We have a homemade shrimp stock, chorizo, kale. This has been cooking for about 20 minutes. Make sure the potatoes are cooked all the way through. We have some codfish, and we have our shrimp. Now, we season these with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we're going to add these right in. We don't want to have a really hard boil. At this point, we have our seafood just kind of poaching in our hot liquid. We have our potatoes in there. We're going to turn this up just a little bit. We want to go through that poaching technique. Next up, we have our garlic bread. When you're taking your garlic bread, you really want to cut it on an angle. Coming after the garlic bread and getting that nice oblong shape. The reason being is that when we are presenting food, the first thing we do before we smell it or taste it is we look at it. And our eye is attracted to odd shapes, abstract shapes, and odd numbers. So you'll see things going onto a plate in numbers of 3 or 5s and rarely using even numbers. Right, we're gonna go back to our stew. Our stew has had some time to poach in here. And again, we have our codfish and we have our shrimp. Now, cod and shrimp, right, and all seafood is done around 135 degrees. So we don't need to cook this too long. We're just using that poaching method, and we talked about poaching in school. That poaching is an actual technique, right? We have boiling, we have simmering, and then we have poaching about 150 to 180 degrees to make sure it's gonna be all the way cooked all the way through. The great thing is you'll see the shrimp turning color, and then you know you're gonna be ready to go. So our seafood is now poached. We're gonna bring it right over. And when I have food in here, we're not gonna hold it in the air and as we're pouring, right? What we wanna do is we wanna go after just the meaty part and pushing a lot of the liquid out, right? We wanna have an even representation in each bowl of what's going on. We're not holding the bowl in our hands. We're not gonna be burning ourselves, right? And we're going right into the pot. We're then gonna go after the seafood broth last, right? So we get a nice even representation of our seafood broth in our dish, right? We're gonna go ahead and add that in. And then we have an even amount in each one, right? Now we have our seafood broth done. We wanna finish this off with some garlic bread. And we're gonna lean that garlic bread right on top so it's actually not sitting into the broth. And there you have Portuguese stew. Another episode of Cooking with Chef Johnny Schwa. Have a great day.